Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Professor Sistrunk, and I am reaching out to my CNS 103 students. Okay, so we started this semester off really good. I must say to you students, kudos to you. You jumped in here, you didn't blink an eye, you actually took care of business. The majority of you have already traveled through the first section, even though the first section didn't have to be totally completed. You are enjoying this particular curriculum. Once again, kudos to you. I want to pick out some particulars that I already talked to you about, and then I want to demonstrate some new information just to see what you guys really truly think about this course. I know some of you are brand new, and I really want to hear your opinions about what's going on in this course. You won't get a chance to actually see my face because I want to have a full screen and pretty much demonstrate what's happening in the course. So the first change that I made to this course is because I am going through your work on Mondays, grading, checking things, making sure everything is okay. I'm moving the discussion questions to Tuesday as the kickoff. And the reason I'm doing that is because this course has a lot of weight to it, and I want to make sure I look at everything. I want to read every discussion question. I want to really pay attention to what you guys are doing, because you got to remember, this is our kickoff course for our department, and I'm interested in your opinions as long as your opinion is focused on the course. Now, some of you gonna see the course as really easy, but trust me, when you get close to the end, it's not gonna be that easy. And some of you are really just gonna get a chance to really begin to understand what IT is all about. It's a beautiful world. It's a beautiful field. And yes, it has taken care of me, but I had to put the work in, just like you. I had to read the books, study the material, and I really hope that you are one of them students who are diligently going through every piece of material. If you're a student who really wanted to know what IT was about and how to do the work, this is the course you should start with, and you should pick through it really carefully. Don't just run through it. But I know some of you guys are also heavyweights in the class, so some of the material you're just flying through, and that's okay. That's okay. I know you're on top of your game plan. So where do I want to start? The first thing is, like I said, discussion questions will be moved to Tuesday, so you'll see them posted every Tuesday, because this gives me a chance to really meticulously go through your work. I really am paying attention. And when I say go through your work, some of the students already know what I mean. I'm talking about I'm looking at the analytics of the work. I'm not just really looking at what you do and how you do it. I'm looking at how much time you spend into it. I got a grid of 15 things that I look at to see what a student is really doing in this course. So this gives me a chance, and a lot of students who have taken classes with me, they know what I mean when I say analytics. But I'm gonna move on from that. The next thing, I already talked to you about this. I'm gonna click on content, and I'll come down here and click on the course. I already talked to you about this. This is the new way to do it. It's really simple. It's really easy. A student just emailed me and said, "Hey, professor, can you open up the new section? Because I'm ready to go to the new section." That's another thing that I really like about it. I get a chance to see when you guys are moving from section to section. So I went in there and clicked on the sections and opened it up for the student. But this gives me a chance to see what's going on in the back end. Because we're not in the classroom, I really can't see your faces. I'm not collaborating with you in that type of academic environment, but this here allows me to dig a little deep onto some things I didn't even have in the classroom. So that's great. So remember, if you get to a section and you can't go into it, just simply email me and say, "Hey, professor, I'm ready for the next section. I'm ready for the next section." I know I'm having a little too much fun, but that's where we'll go from there, and I'll just open it up. Also, when you go in here, I'm going to click on syllabus. Now, this next discussion question is very important. I really want you to pay attention to it, because in this next discussion question, I want you to pay attention to the rubrics. That first discussion question was just basically to give you an open end of, you telling me about yourself, and I really enjoyed hearing about a lot of you, and some of it was even funny to me. But when you now do your discussion questions, stay focused on the rubric, because this is what I'm going to grade those discussion questions on. We are using these discussion questions in conversation with the other faculty members about this particular class, because we see this class as a really great class. I really want to make sure that students who are signing up for our program are really getting a chance to dig in deep and understand it. Now you are in these sections here, the next section. Now remember, the first section, you really didn't have a lot to do, but I know some of you just moved ahead, and that's okay. That's okay. That's great. No problem with that. Now, I'm going to click on the first section, but you're going to see me go hit all the other sections in the next upcoming videos. So just be prepared for that. So when I click on a section, it takes me here. And I just want to show you what I look at from the back end. I can really show you the analytics to it, but that wouldn't fair because I can't show student information. But I get a chance to see, look at this, 99% activation pass. You guys are out there performing. Now, if I showed you the analytics of it, you will see that it's really, really deep on what I can see and what you do. But in this particular section, you had 99 videos, you had 21 documents, 4 hands-on labs, 17 quizzes. Now, I'm going to stop right there for a minute. Those hands-on labs, to a really studious student, go back, print them out, and continue to practice with those labs, because you're going to see that play out in the work world. I got quite a few students who are in this class, and they are in the work world, and they doing this stuff. So I want you to make sure you hold on to them labs. When you looking at the videos, you can see that these particular instructors, they really demonstrating your know-how on this material. You can see they know what they doing. So make sure that you pay attention to that. For instance, when you look at this sidebar, Introduction to IT Support, as you can see, Technical Support Fundamental, Introduction to IT. Then you got Introduction to IT Support. The next section deals with History of Computing. A lot of you already knew that, but those who didn't, you got a chance to look at it. Digital Logic, Computing Architect, Layer, and then you get a grade assessment. Now, you're going to start noticing these grade assessments, they kind of hard. They're not easy, baby. That's not easy. I know I shouldn't have said it like that, but they're not easy. So that's just one particular section you had to go through. Then you move to the next section, and this is just one module here that I'm talking about. And you got hardware, modern computers. You guys are eating this stuff up. You really enjoyed it. And then you got supplemental reading that you can go read. Okay, so now you can see you guys are really knocking this out. Like I said before, you're knocking it out. Supplemental reading material. Once I click on that, that gives me a chance to go to some Wikipedia articles. Here's an article that's talking about the CPU and giving you the breakdown of how the CPU is working. It's the central processing unit, etc., etc. Read these articles, and if you can just save these articles so you can go back and do a little deeper dive on these articles. As you can see, the articles are really deep, but not only that, you get to go to news articles. One of the things that will enhance your IT skills is the fact that you get a chance to go read deeper articles on this. A lot of people don't understand this. If you're going to be in the IT world, if you're really going to work in the IT world, you have to be able to go consistently every morning and read different articles through the day. I constantly get up and I go through my articles because this gives me that knowledge that I didn't pick up in school. So if you're wondering, how is it possible that we know our stuff? we continue to read different articles out there. You're going to see me talk about a lot of security articles because it's a lot of things that changed in the security platform. So this particular article here is how to overclock your CPU. Please don't overclock your CPU. This is telling you how to do it, but it really don't mean you have to go do that, because overclocking your CPU will actually destroy your CPU. But it's telling you how when we were young in the business, that's what we did. When we were young, we wanted to show off. So we went in here and started overclocking our CPU to see how fast we can get things going, etc., etc., etc. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Identify your CPU. It's going to also give you knowledge about purchasing a CPU. As you can see, you got AMD in here. I remember when AMD first came out, it was a piece of, excuse my language, garbage, because everybody was caught up into Intel. Now AMD is a heavyweight. It's really out there demonstrating the knowledge that it has in CPU. So read these articles. Don't let them pass. Now I know some of you, I don't really want to do it. But as an IT person, and you're going to see me talk a little bit more about this, as an IT person, once you get through with your school knowledge, you have to read extra knowledge to keep your mind fresh and your skills set up. This is what this will do for you. You get your magazines. Back in the day, we used to get magazine, PC World, and all these magazines. Some of you may remember those. But now we just go online and we read various articles. So here's a company right here that produces digital material, digital trends, and talk about what's going on. Do you know just reading these articles will keep your skills set together? I mean, you'll be amazed at how much you will know. These are some of the things that I want you to focus on when you in the class. Coming back to the class. Now, I have behind the scenes a lot of more material I can go into. Okay, now you saw me just click on a quiz. So this here pretty much lays out how the quiz is. I went ahead and did this particular quiz because I wanted you to see it in action. I can retake it, but you can see passing score 80%. Your score is 100%. So it gives you a chance to look at the quizzes. Yes, it really gives you a chance to dig deep into the work. So my point here is, let's talk a little bit more about these particulars. And here is my question to you. After completing this first section, not the entire module, this first section, I want you to tell me in 100 words or more, out of this first section, what was the one thing that stood out that excited you about moving forward in this course? That's what I want to hear. Now, I know some of you going to have bad things to say. I don't want to hear the bad stuff, because the bad stuff ain't going to help me understand the course. Tell me the one thing that stood out in this first section. Now, I'm not talking about the entire module. You know this entire module is long. Just look at your syllabi and see how much you had to cover. And in the first section, just give me an idea. Was it something that what is IT? Did you really learn what IT was? What does an IT specialist do? Could it be that you now have an understanding of binary? Tell me the one thing in this course. Let's stay positive and focused, because this is going to be your career, and IT managers will be expecting you to come at that table and say, hey, this is the one thing I really enjoy about being in this career. I'm asking you this question because that's an interview question. That's the one thing we want to know. Why are you so passionate about this IT world? Okay, I'm going to cut it off right there, because I know you pretty much understand what I'm talking about, and you had a chance to see some various things. This is Professor Sistrunk. I'm signing off, and this is your second discussion question. Remember, tell me the one thing in 100 words or more that really excited you something you didn't know, something that really gave you a clear idea of